Hello, boys and girls, and moms and dads. Today, I'd like to share with you on the Feast of St. Nicholas this book entitled The Secret of St. Nicholas. Long ago, when Christmas was new, there was no St. Nicholas. Most people had never even heard of Christmas. But in a warm land near a great blue sea, a boy named Nicholas knew the Christmas story. That was not enough for Nicholas. Tell me more about Christmas, the night of wonders, Nicholas begged his father and mother. They told how a star showed the way and angels appeared, announcing the birth of Jesus. Shepherds hastened from their fields, and wise men traveled from afar to worship the newborn king. But, said his father, instead of a royal palace, they found a stable full of animals. Instead of a rich prince on a throne, they found the holy babe sleeping in a manger. In a feed trough? Nicholas laughed. God surprised everyone. Nicholas decided that God liked surprises. When Jesus grew up, he never stopped surprising people. Jesus even said, "Do good deeds in secret." Now it happened that Nicholas's father and mother both died. They left Nicholas with 3 bags of gold. Nicholas hid them for safekeeping. Then out he went to earn his own way in the world. His village harbor was a bustling place. Brave little fishing boats sailed out to catch their daily harvest of fish. Fat merchant ships jostled loads of cargo of silk and spice. Sometimes the dreaded slave ship came, taking people away, never to be seen again. Nicholas found work on a fishing boat, flinging out nets in search of slippery silver fish. On his way to the harbor each day, Nicholas passed by the home of a nobleman and his 3 daughters. The nobleman's house cracked and crumbled about him, but he still dressed grandly and entertained as though he had not a care in the world. One morning, the nobleman's youngest daughter was hanging her wash to dry at the window. Big tears rolled down her cheeks as she plopped her freshly washed stockings. "Your stockings will never dry that way," said Nicholas. "Oh, Nicholas," the daughter cried, "our last gold coin is spent. Tomorrow, Father takes my oldest sister to the slave ship to sell her for gold, or else we shall all starve." Nicholas dashed home and took out his 3 bags of gold. "2 bags are plenty for me," he said. He was about to take one to the nobleman when he remembered the words of Jesus, "Do good deeds in secret." So instead, Nicholas made a plan. That night, while the village slept, Nicholas crept through the dark and winding streets to the nobleman's house. In a flash, he tossed the heavy bag through the open window. He listened for it to land with a thud, but all he could hear was the nobleman snoring. The next morning, the youngest daughter went to fetch her dry stockings. "How heavy the stocking is," she said. "What a curious shape in the toe." She reached down inside. Gold! Her cry woke the village from end to end. Villagers sprang into the streets, arguing over the mysterious bag of gold. "A trick! A mistake! A miracle!" they exclaimed. Nicholas laughed. "Perhaps it's a gift." "Oh, what does it matter?" the nobleman cried. "There is money for us to live and pay for 3 marriages. Besides, now my 3 splendid daughters can be married." Indeed, the oldest daughter soon married a fine young man. Nicholas danced with joy at the wedding feast. Meanwhile, the nobleman let the gold coins slip through his fingers like water. One afternoon, Nicholas spied the slave ship entering the harbor. "What brings them back so soon?" he said angrily. "Shame, shame," hissed an old fisherwoman. "The nobleman's gold is gone again. Tomorrow he sells his middle daughter to the slavers." If I give my second bag of gold," Nicholas thought, "only 1 bag will remain. 1 bag is still enough for me." When night fell, Nicholas crept into the nobleman's house, where a new row of freshly washed stockings hung drying. Eyes twinkling, carefully he aimed, and swoosh! Into the stockings dropped the second bag of gold. At once a lamp flared. "We're saved!" cried the sisters when they saw the jingling, sagging stocking. The nobleman rushed to the window and peered as hard as he could into the night. But there was no one to be seen. Before long, Nicholas was singing merrily at the wedding of the middle daughter. Surely the nobleman learned his lesson this time, thought Nicholas. The second bag of gold should last as long as he lives. One day, a storm approached the village. Wind whipped and waves crashed. Nicholas hurried to tend his fishing nets. There, he met the youngest daughter crying. "Those must be tears of joy," Nicholas hollered over the wind, "for soon you will be wed." The daughter shook her head. "Then surely the salt wind stings your eyes," he said. "What else could possibly make you cry?" The daughter pointed. There in the harbor waited the slave ship. The nobleman's gold was gone again. That night, Nicholas poured out his third bag of gold. None remained. "Without my gold, what will become of me?" he wondered. Through the night was dark and his candle weak. A coin caught the light. To Nicholas, it sparkled like the wondrous star that once led the way to a humble stable. And with that, Nicholas knew what he would do. Nicholas raced to the sun to see the nobleman's window. Freshly washed stockings hung in a row. Quickly, he aimed and tossed his last bag of gold. He missed. With a crash and a clatter, gold coins were scattered everywhere. Nicholas turned to run, but someone grabbed him from behind. "Now I've got you," his captor cried. Like a mighty fish trapped in a fisherman's net, Nicholas twisted his way and this and that, but he could not escape. "Nicholas," exclaimed the nobleman, "so it is you?" "Let me go," said Nicholas. "The sun is almost up." "Wait," cried the nobleman. "I have been a fool and worse. I will beg my daughter's forgiveness and mend my ways. But first I must thank you. You are a hero." I didn't do it to be a hero or to be thanked," said Nicholas. "How can I repay you?" said the nobleman. "I know. I will tell everyone that it was you." Nicholas laughed. "Keep my secret for as long as you live, and that will be enough." The nobleman promised. This time, the nobleman loved his daughters more than his gold, living out his days in simple contentment. True to his word, he did not tell Nicholas's secret, even when he thought he would burst from keeping it. Years went by, and the old nobleman lay dying. "For so long," he told his weeping daughters, "I have kept the secret of the mysterious bags of gold, but I cannot keep it any longer." With his final breath, he said, "Nicholas." From person to person, the secret flew over the desert, over the sea, until Nicholas's secret wasn't a secret anymore. As for Nicholas, he grew to be a great holy man. So beloved was he that he was given a special name, St. Nicholas. Stories say that with God's help, St. Nicholas did many brave and marvelous deeds. He saved sailors from sinking in a storm. He stopped the beheading of an innocent man. He found food when famine threatened his people. Perhaps best of all were the 3 good deeds he did in secret. For on Christmas, the birthday of Jesus, boys and girls all over the world rushed to see what new good deeds were done in the night. And that began with a boy named Nicholas and his 3 bags of gold. And that, boys and girls, is the secret of St. Nicholas.